My thoughts on Splatoon 3. I recently got Splatoon 3 and I really love the game, but there are some flaws in the game that I want to talk about, as well as the good stuff. When I first got Splatoon 3, I didn't have the Nintendo Switch Online, meaning that I couldn't play online, which is the best way to play the game. So for that time, I was just playing it using that, story mode. But the story mode really just isn't it. The levels in the story mode are like platformers, which I think could be a really cool concept, but I don't think that they were executed perfectly. The levels feel very samey and very boring. It feels like they were put together in 5 minutes and then duplicated. They're very tedious to play because there are so many of them you have to complete, and they're all so boring. I feel like some of the levels are decent though, like the boss battle levels, I think I like a decent amount. But for the life of me, I cannot complete Fry's boss fight. I don't know how, but I just can't. It's probably a skill issue though, since I've been playing since Christmas. But yeah, the story mode could have been better, and hopefully in Splatoon 4 it'll be good. And also, the story in the story mode is not great. I feel like the story could have been better, cause Splatoon 3 I guess doesn't have that much to make a story of, because it's like a shooter game and shooter games don't have very good stories, but games like Fortnite do this better. And I dislike Fortnite, so that's kind of crazy for me to say, but I think it does story modes better than Splatoon. But something I think the Splatoon series is better at than Fortnite is creativity. By the way, the reason I'm comparing these two games are because they're both shooter games and they're both very similar to each other. They're a little cartoonish. You can't really compare them to games like Call of Duty because Call of Duty is a realistic game about war and stuff, but these games are just about shooting people. But yeah, back to the comparison. You could say that Fortnite is really creative because of the cool things like the battle bus and all the characters, but the characters aren't even that creative. A bunch of them are just ripped from pop culture, such as Snoop Dogg or Mariah Carey. The Splatoon series characters are so interesting. They're octopus human-like things that speak some sort of gibberish language. Yeah, the Inklings are very weird though. Before I owned any of the Splatoon games, I thought they were really weird, because they had this gibberish language and they looked like octopus humans. But I think they're also kind of cool. They're like humans, but less like humans at the same time. Whereas in games like Fortnite, it's humans, with the exception of characters like Peely. This isn't a video comparing Splatoon and Fortnite though, so let's stop talking about Fortnite and talk more about Splatoon, because I don't even really like Fortnite. Next, let's talk about the different game modes in Splatoon. The main game mode is Turf War, and I think it's the best. I think Salmon Run and Table Turf are decent, but I think the best way to play is Turf War. For those who don't know how to play Turf War, it's kind of simple. You just cover the map with your ink. Okay, that kind of sounded weird. But yeah, you cover the whole area with your paint stuff, and there's another team. They both have 4 players, and whoever has the most ink on the map when the game ends after 3 minutes, they win. Throughout the game, you'll try to defeat enemies by hitting them with your ink, using your special abilities, and it's all around a really fun time. I find lots of the weapons to be really satisfying to use, and it's also very satisfying when you hit an enemy. I really love the weapons, by the way. I especially love the paint roller, which I'm using in the video right here. It's just really satisfying to paint the area with it and run over your enemies. Same with the paintbrush. It's fun to splash it around at enemies. I also love the inclusion of being able to turn into a squid and then hide under your ink. It makes mobility faster, and it makes it funner. Oh, and one of my favorite things about the weapons is their special abilities. I can't remember which weapon has it, but one of the weapons in the game has a special ability that allows you to stamp everyone out, which is basically like hammering. It's really overpowered. You crush any enemies that get in your path, and paint a big amount of the area. Honestly, the stamp ability is so overpowered that you can literally win a game just by stamping. You could be losing a game, the whole map could be covered in the other team's ink, and you can just start stamping and win the game. Another thing I like about the game is the graphics. Yeah, the graphics aren't realistic like Call of Duty, but I kinda like it that way. It allows it to look more unique and creative. The ink looks shiny, The different maps look kinda realistic, but not too realistic. And the Splatoon Inklings have so much personality. Their designs are also so cool. I do think that there should be more customization with your character though. I feel like there's not enough choices for what you want your hair to look like. So that's why my in-game character has a bowl cut, even though I don't have a bowl cut in real life. It's just the closest to my hair, which isn't even close to my hair. But we're not talking about my hair right now. Speaking of Inkling customization, let's talk about the different clothes you can wear. You can wear jerseys like my character, you can wear sneakers, and it really makes your character stand out more. And it allows you to express yourself. Next, let's talk about the square. The square is the spawn area. It's where you can buy clothing, buy weapons, and enter Splatfests. Speaking of Splatfests are events in the game. And in Splatfest, you get to decide which of 3 things you like the most. It could be something like, which of these gifts do you like the most? The experience, money, or presents? Or like, which season do you like the most? Winter, fall, or like summer? And you duke it out with other teams that chose something else. And whichever team has the most wins will win. And the great thing is, they keep updating the Splatfests. And when they update the Splatfest, they also update the levels you can play. I wish you could play all levels at one time and not just wait like the next week to play another level, but it's okay. Speaking of the levels, I really like them. I do think some of them are not great though. For a game as unique as Splatoon 3, I feel like the levels could have been more unique. But most of them are really basic. Like, what if there was one that took place at like a carnival where there's like a Ferris wheel and like roller coasters that you battle on? Like, wouldn't that be awesome? Of course, some levels are pretty creative, but not all of them. So it's really disappointing when sometimes the only levels you can play are really boring ones, and then you have to wait a bit to play the actual fun ones. Now, I've already talked about the characters before, but I was only talking about the Inklings really. Not the various other races that are in the Splatoon series, like the jellyfish people and the manta rays. So let's talk about them. Lots of the NPCs look really unique, and they aren't just Inklings. Some of them are blobfishes and some of them are jellyfishes. And some of them are manta rays like Big Man. Big Man is undoubtedly the best character in Splatoon. He's just too cool. I wish I could dedicate this video to only talking about Big Man, but unfortunately I have to talk about the rest of Splatoon 3. Let's talk about the other people in Big Man's crew. There's Fry and Shiver. For some reason they're portrayed as villains, but also good guys. They do the news reports every day, but they also are the villains in the story mode, so they're kind of confusing characters. Now this video isn't just talking about Splatoon 3, so why don't I do a little comparison with Splatoon 2? Splatoon 3 is the sequel to Splatoon 2, and if you didn't know, they're both on the Nintendo Switch. And something that's often brought up when talking about Splatoon 3 is how unique it was and different it was from Splatoon 2. Lots of people when reviewing this game say that it wasn't different from Splatoon 2 and was too samey. And some people even say that it's similar to the first Splatoon. And I honestly have to agree with them. It could have been more different from Splatoon 2 and 1. I guess it is very different from Splatoon 1, but not 2. Come on, they just added a few more maps and a different story mode. And different characters, and that's about it. I feel like they could have added more, and I feel like Splatoon 4 will have to be creative. Cause I'm not getting it if it's too similar to Splatoon 3. Because I'm not gonna get the same game that I already have. But all in all, Splatoon is a wonderful series. Since the Wii U, the 3 games that the series has are pretty great ones. Hopefully Splatoon 4 on the Nintendo Switch 2 will do something unique though. Or maybe we'll not even get a Splatoon 4 on the Switch 2. But I hope we do, because I actually love this series. And I feel like it deserves more attention. Because this is definitely one of the best shooter games I've played. You might not even consider it a shooter game, but whatever. But the best shooter game is Duck Hunt by far. Everyone loves Duck Hunt on the NES. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this game to anyone who wants to play a fresh, unique shooter game. Or if you're just looking for a different Switch game that's like unique and stuff. If you're looking for a new series that you love, then this is probably the one. If you don't like shooter games though, this might not be for you. But if you're maybe a fan of the Mario art style, maybe if you like playing games like Fortnite, or maybe something like Arsenal on Roblox, then I would recommend this game. But obviously, this is just a recommendation from me. Not everyone's gonna like this game. In fact, it's one that I think is very controversial in the Nintendo series. I think you either love the series and get all the games, or you dislike the series and you don't want to play it. And for a while, that was me. I thought this game looked different and weird. But of course it's going to be different, it's a different series. And I'm glad I took the chance because this series is awesome. If you're stuck on which Splatoon game you want to get, then here's a tip from me. If you have a Wii U, get the first one, obviously because it's the only one you can get. But if you have a Switch, get Splatoon 3, because it's the newest Splatoon, and Splatoon 2 is a little outdated. Okay, it was only made in 2017, it's not outdated. But people don't really play Splatoon 2 anymore because there's 3 out now, so it's not really worth it to go back to Splatoon 2. So yeah, Splatoon 3 is the best Splatoon game. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I'm trying to make longer form videos now, and they take a while to make, so please like and subscribe if you'd like.